Welcome back to Wee Willy Wonderfuls. We've finished our eyes. Look at those little cute eyes on our elephant. And now we're going to make a pink pom-pom for our elephant's ear. Now there are several different types of finishing you can do on them. There's a couple of different ones. We have a bow like so, and that is available on a separate video, which we will put the link to in the information below this video. So if you look at the information written there, we'll put a link to the crochet bow, and there's also a loop bow or bow tie. So this can be done as a bow just near the ear, or as a little bow tie. So there'll be a link to how to make that. So we're going to show you the little pom-pom by the gal's ear, and say if you fancy something different, you can go for those. And there's also different versions of the eyes. When you watch the eye video, there will be links in the writing below that, so you've got a couple of different types of eye, just to give you some different options. So we're going to show you how to make the pom-pom. And if you read the pattern, it says to use 2 fingers to wrap around. Just saves having to use anything else, really. It's quite a quick and easy way to make a pom-pom. So we're going to cut a strand first, about 30 or 40 centimetres, and leave that there ready. And now we're going to wrap this wool around 40 times. 8, 9, 10. Depends how dense you want your pom-pom. If you want it quite sparse, then you can do it less. If you want a nice dense pom-pom, do it more. So that's about 40, but feel free to do more or less. So cut that off. Don't wrap it too tight because you won't be able to get it off your fingers. Now really carefully take it off. You don't want to disturb that. Do as little as possible to disturb it. And then we're going to pop that on here. It's so easy to unravel this. It's just a really quick, easy way to make a pom-pom. You can get pom-pom makers. You can use cardboard. Is anybody like me? They used to, as a child, cut up cereal boxes and do the circles with holes on and a gap that you used to fill in. That was always my favourite way of doing pom-poms. But with a really small pom-pom, this is just an easy way to do it. So we're just going to tie that in the centre. Let's enlarge so we can see better. We're going to tie it in the centre. If you tie it toward one edge, your pom-pom won't be quite as good. So we're going to hold that while we tie another knot. Now this has to be tied very tightly. If it's not, your pom-pom will unravel. Now I wouldn't suggest a pom-pom for a small child, because if they start pulling at the strands on the pom-pom, it will all come to pieces if they start pulling them out. So I'm going to hold that with my finger really firmly while I do another tight knot. And then once I've done a double knot, what I'm going to do is split those. So we've got them separated, look, like so. And then I'm going to wrap around one way and the other way with our thread. So we're kind of tying it at the opposite side as well. So we've tied it at the front, and then we'll turn it over and tie it at the back. So we're going to do a nice tight double knot again. I've got a loop caught in there, but we won't worry too much. Try and keep them separate. So do it 2-3 times, nice and tight, because then it will be secure. Now what we're going to do is use a pair of scissors to cut the loops. So you're just cutting through all the loops. Don't cut through the thread that's tying around the middle. It'll all just fall to pieces. And leave the strands that you tied it with as well, because we're going to use those to tie the pom-pom to our elephant. Maybe easy just to leave one, so we can cut one off. And we're just leaving one so that we've got one strand here, and that's enough to tie our pom-pom on. So look at the state of that. That doesn't look like a very good pom-pom. So what we're going to do is give it a little trim. So all we're aiming for is to get our pom-pom nice and round. If we spot any odd loops that have escaped, we're going to cut through those. So we're just going to cut around it one way, hold it flat, press it so that the ends go flat around the edges, just like that. So I'm just pressing it flat, and I'm just going to trim it, try and get as nice round a circle as I can. Be careful though, you can go on forever and end up with a tiny pom-pom. You just keep cutting it. Right, so we'll get that relative circle. And then what we'll do is give it a jiggle about and then cut round it in the opposite direction. And you'll soon find there's lots of bits that aren't quite level. See, if you wanted a bit denser than this pom-pom, you could have done more wraps, but there you go. So you can mess about for ages with this, to be honest. Getting it nice. Just keep turning it over, and any longer bits that aren't very neat, just give them a little trim. It's looking a bit neater now. You can see it's neatening up. So I'm just going to keep doing that, getting it a bit tidier, but just trying to avoid snipping off that. If you snip it off, you can add another one, but it's much more secure if you use the one that's already wrapped tightly around your pom-pom, because it's quite firmly attached. So when you're happy with it, that's quite nice. If you're going for it really, really neat, you'll probably end up with a very small pom-pom. If you want it a bit bigger pom-pom, you could wrap around 3 fingers. There we go. That will be neat enough for what we're doing. So all I'm going to do now is thread our needle with the end from the pom-pom. Move that out of the way. And then we're just going to sew that onto here. I'm just going to pop that pom-pom. Let me show you where. Just near her ear, look. How sweet is that? So let's just do it near her ear, and we're just going to do a few stitches, pull them tight. I want to do quite a few stitches in here because we want it to hold on quite firmly. And you can also go up through the centre of the pom-pom. You have to really go through the central thread though. If you just go through the loose strands, that's not going to work. So you'd have to go through the bits on the centre. And we'll do that quite a few times, as tight as you can, but for this purpose I'm just going to finish it off there, just do a few stitches on it like so, just so we can show you the finished effect. But do put more stitches in than that, so it on nice and secure. And there we have pom-pom sewn on. Look at that, it's beautiful. Look, I've sewn it onto the other one with the bow tie. You can see the effect. That's really sweet. And now if it's a little bit untidy, you can trim a few bits. So there's that one there. He's got a pom-pom and a bow, and this bow one hasn't got one at all. Oh, there's going to be tears. There's going to be tears. I can see it now. So there you have it with the pom-pom. If you want to have a go at the loop bow or the crochet bow, check out the other videos. The link will be at the bottom. I really hope you've enjoyed making your elephant. We've lots more. We've got video tutorials for the bunnies. We've got them for the giraffes. And we've also got them for the bear.